you know, I'd really love the opportunity not to have to talk about this like this. And then see it happen as it happens. You know? Sometimes life is just an opportunity to do something different while being alive. You know? What's the middle of that? Something I know about my brother. Okay? My brother doesn't have whatever gift that I have. Of which I find it very difficult to even understand. There's a lot of reasons why I can actually apply some thinking to the process and see it as a disability from a different perspective that takes in many different perspectives. But I call him to check very specifically because my brother's not going to give you a good report of me. Yeah. He might be able to, but he doesn't have it in him. He's too preoccupied. Now, is his preoccupation with things that he cares about more importantly, or is he being led astray very deliberately to go on the goose hunt that self-selects and confirmation biases his already pre-existing belief? That's the one. How do you determine that for somebody, of somebody? Well, with me, I have a very specific dream where it threatens my life. And I wake the fuck up and start to watch. Do you normally have this happen out of your younger brother? No. My brother he shares this with only one other person, my ex-wife. You know what my gift is? And I find this to be the case because I didn't hurt her, and I didn't even fail to not respond in like praying for the person while that I didn't know if they were okay. You don't get that out of the person that they are. You don't get that out of them. Why I believe in God, religious people, the heavenly realms, greater things than I'm capable of, is because I need them. And I know they exist. And I know they take actions on our behalf. And I don't take revenge when wronged. And I have long suffered. And in this case, this isn't my personal issue. This is bigger than mine. It goes into a fucking class action suit. I call my brother on this day and I think he's probably got to be at work. He's under a lot of stress, but you know what? Brother always has an emissary that is plugged into this situational betrayer every fucking time. There's something, and I can read signs. I'm not fucking stupid. I just don't act on them like they're fucking anything greater than a clue. You know, it doesn't mean that this is the case. You know, a real person knows that only a killer with a gun is a killer. You know, if you have the tool, my brother's like the tool without the killer part. He's been fucking me up, and I've watched it occur. Now, thankfully for him, my mom explained to me what was going on, and it was jealousy of older brother. And see, when you have a right excuse for being a retard, an asshole, a piece of shit, or something else like that, in the type of way I even got this from my ex, it's usually due to some sort of hardcore trauma programming. You know? Unless it's extreme dysfunction. But if you don't think the mass people in this world is under hypnotic mind control, I don't know what to tell you. Because they have been, and it's been going on for a long time. You know? Of course, I'm not going to be at liberty to say what I believe now about it. But from the tell, I got clear signs that let me put those signs in the right basket to hand them off. He's in the movie theater watching Obsession. That movie. What's it about? Oh, it's about some fucking person that uses a magic spell to do something basically you don't do with magic that's not black magic. You know, telling a basic tale that is probably his only way to get up to speed with the reality of magic. Because it's not like you're fucking crippled or don't believe. You atrophy because you didn't practice these principles. So now a movie's got to short bus it to you, and the movie's priming you to be short bust wrong about those around you, because that's who you are. You want to believe this about your brother because you want him dead. You don't openly know that, you just need it to be the case, because then you would get all the funds while you're slow boating, I need my half. So this is the continuation of I hope he dies, I hope something takes him out. Look here, this is... And that's my reality of my experience with my brother, who can't understand. And me, if I went there and I saw him, if I went into his environment, his bullshit would melt. And trust you, trust me, the more that I know that I go there without going there, the more I see it and it happens. It has nothing to do with wanting to bilocate. That's something to do with what makes that possible. You know, will I bilocate and just be there and not make my presence known? Abso-fucking-lutely. Because I'm gonna live. I am not dying to that shit, and I'm not gonna fail to fight it. Because I know it exists. I know there's war in the astral realm. I'm just not gonna fucking bitch up and do it. It sucks. You know? I experienced this with my ex, who I'm trying to communicate with. You know what I mean? It's necessary. And what are you still trying to hang on to? This person's gonna be able to if you're so programmed to set up your own person that you're supposed to be married to, like, you practically have sold your partner into slavery. Like, you sold their fucking organ parts for money. You've spent the money. They were supposed to be dead. What are they doing alive? That means the check didn't clear for the body parts they were supposed to get. Oh my God, what do we do? That's the sort of horrors that come unwrapped. For real. Like, I'm not even joking. That's the shit. I've seen it. And no, I don't know what to make of it. I initially have to believe there's no way they're that fucked up. And they think the same about me. Except I'm not that fucked up. Me going through this process of communicating, looking at the fucking camera, and saying these thoughts has caused an ability to do shadow work that wouldn't occurred. Doesn't happen for most people. They ain't trying to learn the self. They're not trying to fucking go into their own fucking ego and psyche. No way. They don't want nothing to do with that. That's difficult. It is difficult. It is difficult. It fucking is. So I call him. Because what do you think's going on? Look. They came here and delivered me this package from Ronnie. And Ronnie made it perfect. I don't know what the necessity to do that would be. He's on probation. He's in some sort of trouble. They had been. He got busted doing some illegal stuff. Okay, so what? It's true. They deliver it. They needed me to pay for it before they could let me have this. They needed me to pay $8.15. Dude, I was given a bag that had that in it. And yeah, we're going to do it right here. And we did it fast. We made the transaction. Like when they held the letter, like it disappeared in the mail and for a long period of time. Of course that's suspect. Of course it's a sign that shows that they're doing stuff to stuff. You know? So what would be the benefit of this? To go through this? What would be the benefit to go through this like it happened? Would be my benefit. I'm the predictive program. I'm the one that had to ride to the store and then go the other way and have that experience to get all this money and stuff. Well, none of that was fucking random. None of that was random. That guy that gave me that money, he decided he wanted to do it, or what? He was ready there, gonna give me a bag of cursed money or something. What is it gonna be? Can you be set up really here? Can you really fall for the bullshit? Or can you honestly push through it and be blessed as you fight through it towards something better? It can't be both. I don't think it can be both. That's the only way I can get my mind around it. And it works. It actually works. Time and time again, that simple basic premise has opened a way for the third option, which is fucking miraculous. So that wedge doesn't have to occur. The work for that has occurred. So this is straight to fucking release on the fucking karma. On the parties that deserve it. I guess. I don't know. I wouldn't be figuring it a sophisticated backlashing mechanism if I didn't have a fucking knowledge and knowing of seeing that occur. Because I don't want nothing to do with it if it's that. I've always been good at keeping my fucking ass clean of evil shit that's evil, and don't do that. But you know, that's how karma works. For each person, it's not like it's a threat, it's the actual result of what you're doing. You know? My ex had resolved to fuck me over way in the past. Partially the reason why you know her marriage is failure and was gonna fail was because she's not been able to be free to be in a partnership. That person was meant to be their karmic accounting service, and they didn't want nothing to do with it anymore. You know, their position at the marriage was going to be suffering shitty position. You know, I got a readout of it from a video. It's just so weird because I know that there are people connected to it that are handling it as it looks quite clearly as a fucking over of me, and all my training is in handling those things. That's my most sophisticated training, is dealing with shit like that. You know, where the person you know is about to stab you in the back in a 5 fucking foot combat scenario. 5 foot go. Try not to get your knife stabbed. That's pretty close to accurate. You know, are they physically going to have a knife? No, but is not a psychological knife the only one there really is? That's the weapon for fucking air. He's an air sign, Aquarius. It's always psychological warfare. It's always a knife. It's a knife. You know what I mean? I wasn't fucking having that shit. I wasn't going to fucking do it. So yeah, he's not in the mind. He's not in the mind. He's dragging his feet. He's hoping for the worst for me. He's not even conscious of it. There's your brother. Oh, great. Your ex-wife in the same situation? Yeah. You know, you get a job. You're trying to do your own thing for your own body life. But you pulled the fucking rug out from under them. Those who are selling your children and the world into slavery because it needed exposure. These are the things that are going on. Well, no, that's true. I mean, the truth about it is that it's the truth. And that it's like, it's oddly specific. It's deadly dangerous too. I wouldn't want that. I didn't really sign up for that. But I'm not going to do any different than what I've done to get to where I'm at. You know? And I'm not taking a fucking that I don't deserve if I put myself out there to go forward right. And it requires what I got to do that, which I can, and I am. And still, it's different, and it's a bit dangerous. But it requires murder of my person rather than my suicide. It requires kill me then, bitch. And do it to my face. Let's fight. In the spiritual realms, where people that aren't equipped aren't going to have that fight. That doesn't necessarily allow me to count it a win. But in the physical world, I count it a win. Because I know that there's a physical component that doesn't have a chance in a fight. And it's an ability to be really empathic towards some really fucked up damaged shit. And I think that's required for a lot of other ways for the world to heal. But this one's very specifically not. I don't know, man. It's cashing in all my hope for humanity to have it. And I have made the choice. If it was the wrong choice, it's my choice. I'll learn. I might pay with my life. That's what karma is. You get what you got because you got it. I don't know. Maybe I don't know something I should know. But it affects me from the outside in. Like, what is on my outside is directly in the deepest part. And they're shifting and relating in a dance with one another. And I really peace.